Hello, Aries. So the energy that I get with you right off the bat is hi. Like that's why I greeted you that way. It's like hi. And yet there is a whole bunch of other energy with you right now as well. So I'm labeling this for the week of July 21st or when you hear it. And of course, it won't be for every Aries. But the feeling that I'm getting with this Aries is I just looked over there and I saw written over my couch, it's time. And that's what it feels like. It feels like it's time. So the tune that came to my head was I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles, which is an old song. I don't know oh, 1920s. There we go. So these are the words. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, they reach the sky. And like my dreams, they fade and die. Fortune's always hiding. I've looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. Now, the thing is, that's what I feel as I'm reading these cards. The first card that I pulled is abandonment. The card that accidentally got mixed up in a total other pack was prayerfully. And then you get be your own hero. The feeling that I'm getting with this, Aries, oh yeah, and then I got the theme from Rocky. Now, I've never actually seen the movie, but I know the idea, which is that he comes from behind, he thinks he's washed out, and yet, then you see him. I think there's this scene where he's running up the steps and you hear the theme. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's time. No more blowing bubbles in the air. No more hoping things are going to work out. This is about you now deciding that whatever has gone on in your past that has, and I feel that there is an element of having felt abandoned in some way that caused you, stick with me on this because it won't be for everybody. But what I feel like is that there are some of you who have experienced abandonment fairly early on in your life, or at least at an age where you were having to make big decisions. If not in childhood, then in a part of your adult life or young life when you were having to make big decisions. And that some of what that led to was you feeling as though the only way for you to feel secure was to put yourself in a position with other people where you were taking care of them, because as long as you were taking care of them, they were less inclined to leave. Now, it doesn't mean that you didn't love these people, and it didn't mean that they didn't also contribute, but there was a sense of some kind of burden on you. And I will say emotionally, because it feels to me, what I'm reading is that some of you were dealing with people who were not as emotionally mature in regards to being able to maintain their own sense of structure in life, whether it was their financial structure or their emotional structure, but there was something that was perhaps a little bit off where you felt you could slide in and help stabilize. And of course, there were other payoffs that they brought along. But to me, it feels like this would have been almost like a standard codependent kind of relationship where everybody was giving up something in order to get something else. And you're tired. That's what it feels like to me. This kind of thing is no. That's not really what it's like. It feels as though boundaries have not always been respected. Sometimes now barriers have been put up because boundaries have not been respected in relation to other people or vice versa. And that now it's a matter of you being able to say it's time. This is Rocky coming back for the win. This is you having figured out that you now know how to be able to set boundaries for yourself and to create a structure where you are able to be flexible where you need to be, but you're very clear on what you're not willing to be flexible on. And this has a lot to do with your personal respect and respecting yourself and demanding what you need and getting it. This you do not deserve any less than to be respected and to be appreciated by those that you are also helping. Okay? This is not something where if you have found yourself in a situation where you've been doing a lot of the giving and a lot of the giving in and giving over in order to accommodate other people, you may find yourself in a position where you're not really fully respected or appreciated for it. So now is the time for you to go, oh yeah? No, you know what? Be your own hero card. That fell out. I put it back in the deck, and when I shuffled and cut, it came out again. So this is you, Aries, standing for yourself. This is you setting your boundaries, not being afraid of abandonment anymore. That's an old energy that you've carried with you, right? Does not mean to say that when you stand up to people, they're not going to balk and separate or create issues for you. And, some of them may actually decide, no, this isn't it for me. However, it's up to you to decide, my dear, dear, dear Aries. How are you going to respect yourself? What boundaries do you need to set for yourself in order to feel not just respect from them, but respect for yourself? What are you willing not to put up with in order to be able to respect yourself? How are you going to be your own hero? Okay? You got to stand for you. Now listen, of course, when we're dealing with situations that are relationships where there may be codependency, there may be personality disorders, whatever, in extreme cases now, you always have to make sure when you are standing for yourself and setting boundaries that you're doing it in a way where you are safe. So if you are dealing with that, of course, please take that into consideration. And again, be your own hero. Take care of what you need to take care of to be safe first. And then take care of what you need to take care of to really live in a state of self-respect, and let that be reflected back to you by your relationships. Okay? If you've been dealing with people who are weaker than you emotionally, and when I say weaker than you emotionally, I mean lean on you emotionally in a way where their sense of identity and their sense of survival is so linked to you that you changing can really create upheaval for them. Please remember that they are also in this game to learn and to grow. It doesn't mean you can't do it kindly. In fact, the card that got lost and stuck into this other deck is the prayerfully card. And I feel this is where it's important. This is not just about you. This is not about you going in like a fiery person and saying, and I demand respect. It means you being able to understand the context within which you're working, to set your boundaries in a way that's relevant, but to embrace the prayerful attitude. And what does that mean? It can mean actively praying or invoking the support of a divine presence. So again, this is bigger than you and bigger than this situation. It can mean letting your mind and actions reflect an attitude of acceptance of, or at least the possibility of, a higher power which is there to guide you. Again, beyond fiery ego, divine presence. It could mean maintaining an awareness of something sacred or mystical and acting with the acceptance that it's present even in the most seemingly mundane activities. Can you do all? Can you bring divine presence into whatever situation this is? Remembering first and foremost, Aries, you can be aggressive. You can be fiery in your approach to things. You can be adamant. And you can set a lot of barriers instead of negotiable boundaries. But you are also sometimes the people who let yourself be overrun with other people's needs because you are capable of doing it. It's one of the things that can often happen to fire signs, because you can be hard workers, because you can be providers and caretakers. This is a time for you to kind of allow yourself to bring that other energy that is actually bigger than fiery energy. Bring that divine energy into whatever it is you're working with. You're still being your own hero when you do that. You're just leaning in to the big guns, which is divine love. Which, okay, I know that sounds contradictory, but I think you know what I mean, Aries. Okay, that's it. Take care.